Hello friends, and welcome back to Shelley Skylines Festive Edition. In today's episode, I thought it would be fun to get into the spirit with a little recreation of a real-life Santa village. Known as the official hometown of Santa Claus, based in Rovaniemi in Finland. This enchanting place is nestled in the Arctic Circle and is celebrated as the official hometown of Santa Claus. But before we get into the build today, I thought I would let you in on a bit of my creative process when I'm looking at some of these projects. So because we don't have a huge, extensive asset collection at the moment, we have to work with what we've got. But there are some funkadelic things that we can do to get the real Christmas vibe going on. And when I think Christmas, I think lights. So let's jump into the asset editor. Now, I'm certainly not an expert at using this asset editor, but you may have seen some of my previous experimentations with making funky colored lights. So we have done a little bit of this before, but I think for this project, the ideal light is going to be the wall light because it looks like a little bauble thingy, and I'm hoping that we can easily attach this to some trees and buildings. So it's pretty easy to do this. The trick is to first create your light source, and then you can apply it to the light object itself. So first, find the light source. In this case, I'm using the wall light 02. Duplicate it, give it a different name. I like to just call it the color that I'm going to make it. And then if you scroll down to the color, you can easily use the color picker here. So we're going to do an array of colors, but we will start with a nice bright Christmas red. And then click save and you're all set. And now we will just repeat this process with some more light sources in green, pink, blue, orange, and of course, purple. Now that we have the light sources, we can come back and grab the actual wall light that we want. Duplicate it again, rename it to the color again so that we can stay organized. And now when we go to the effect sources here, we can easily pick the color light source that we just created. So we will choose the wall light red here and hey presto. So one more time, duplicate the wall light, call it wall light green in this case, or whatever you want. And then go to the effect source and choose wall light green and then save. Rinse and repeat for the rest, and there you go. These are now immediately available in the game, so let's go. So when I'm doing something that's a bit experimental, I try to get a little bit of an inventory going for what I'm going to use in the build. A bit of a palette, if you like. It goes without saying we're going to need some snowmen, and thankfully these already exist in the game. These little guys are just so stinking cute. I just had to get them in here first so that we can get the real Christmas vibe going on. Now let's test these lights. Naturally, we'll need a spruce tree. It's the only logical choice. And then using Find It, we can locate our new wall lights and try attaching them to the tree. And oh my goodness, it works like a charm. Well, sort of. Wait, where'd the tree go? Let's try that again. And of course, you can't forget to decorate the back of the tree. At least the tree is staying still this time, and wowzers. They look like bloody baubles on a Christmas tree. Now you might have noticed that these are not colored, but let's switch to night mode. And oh yes, now that's what I'm talking about. How good is that? Why am I so excited by that? Well, goodness me, while I get over the amazingness of that Christmas tree, some of the other things I was messing with in the asset editor before. I found this chimney, which while it's not exactly Christmassy, I guess it's kind of Christmas adjacent, given Santa loves chimneys. The reason that I like this though is it has the ability to be red and white striped. But as you can see, the standard one comes with smoke pouring out of it. So to remove that, I just duplicated this in the asset editor and removed the smoke to make a less toxic Christmas version. We can't be polluting Santa's village now. I also tried to mess around a bit to have snow coming out of it, but unfortunately I couldn't make that happen. At least we can change the colors to make it super bright candy cane red and white. I'm sure this will come in handy somewhere. Next, we need a bit of a focal point building. In the real-life Santa village, it's actually Santa's office apparently. I guess he would have a lot of admin to take care of throughout the year. So much logistics. It's tough being Santa. But anyway, you can see here on Google Street View, Santa's office is this prominent red and white Scandinavian kind of thing. So let's just have a browse and see what we find. Not much, but I've just put this selection of a few cool buildings here because I can't remember what ones you can change the color on. and bingo, that looks pretty sweet. I think this is going to have to be the one because it doesn't look like you can change the colors on these other ones. Yep, so we'll go with the Emerald Building, now known as the Red Christmas Building of Joy. I'm pretty sure if I was Santa, this is where I would want to work. Now we need some little market stalls and stuff too, and I also noticed for the accommodation there's igloo looking kind of huts and things as well. So let's test some of this campground stuff. Okay, we've got a nice little assortment going on, but with this Santa HQ, I think we need to try whacking some lights on this thing. Now let's turn to night mode, and oh yeah, that's the ticket. So cool. I think using the wall lights was definitely the right choice. Very versatile whether we're putting on the tree or also on these buildings. I'm having premonitions that adding these lights to all the things in our real little village is going to be quite time consuming. But I'll do it for Santa. And I think for my final experiment, I want to try positioning these like they're hanging like a garland sort of thing on the building and use all the colors that we have. Now that is Christmas joy if I ever saw it. So we've made our list, let's check it twice. We have our snowmen, our candy cane non-smoking chimney thing, our Santa's office, some cool little market stalls and igloo things, and of course our lights. Let's start this build. So when we look at the village, there's a few key things we need to include. There's the Arctic Circle Information Center right here as you come through the front entrance. And then we have Santa's office, where visitors can meet the big man himself. We have Santa's post office, where letters addressed to Santa from all over the world are received and replied to. Super cute. Even Mrs. Claus has her own little official HQ here, as well as a little petting zoo, I think. I'm going to assume it's full of reindeer. We have Snowman World, so I guess we know what we're going to be putting in there. And then it's all surrounded by some cute little accommodation. And of course, given it's sitting right on the Arctic Circle, it's the primary destination for Northern Light seekers, offering amazing views of the Aurora Borealis during the winter months. For the map, I originally thought about expanding Sleepy Hollow for a fun Nightmare Before Christmas crossover. But instead, I found a map based on Rovaniemi itself, available on Paradox Mods, so of course we're going to have to use this now. In terms of where to put this, it's actually made my life a whole lot easier because whoever made this map has actually done an excellent job at putting these little lakes and the main roads, so I'm pretty sure this is where we go. So the layout is not overly complicated. Let's just get that in so we can focus more so on the decoration and detailing. Now for our first building, we're going to start with something super exciting and super Christmassy. The Shell service station, conveniently located across the road from Santa Village. I guess as a prime tourist spot, you gotta have one. It's not a totally complicated proposition and we'll use the one-stop signature building and add in some car parks and the like. And finally, I think we got to make this thing Santa red. And we'll add in some of the trees and things soon. Now, while we're doing some of this stuff, there's a bunch of car parks around the place. So I think we'll keep going with the car parks and start adding some around the Santa Village. So for some of our main buildings around here, we have the Santa Claus post office and next door is the Arctic Circle Information Center. And then over here we have the Three Elves restaurant and bar. And next door we have the Christmas House restaurant and coffee bar. So festive. So it goes without saying, we're going to have to use a real post office building for the official Santa Claus post office. It's not exactly a Nordic looking building, but I do want to make sure that Santa can actually receive and send mail somewhere. We can jazz it up, of course, by making it red. And of course, we should rename this. And also, I think I would really like to add something to this, just to fill it out a bit more. And another building I really like is the Geological Research Centre. I think this is cool because it has a bit of that stone facade. So it's not totally faithful, but it's gonna look cool anyway. Now for the three elves, if you look at this from above, you can see it has this interesting hexagonal shape. I thought it might be fun to combine some of those elementary school children's clinics to achieve a similar kind of shape. Next we have the Christmas House Restaurant and Coffee Bar, and there's some more of these hexagon-y buildings here. So we'll just bung those on in and copy the colours from the other ones for some consistency. What I might do here next to it is use one of the new German schools. I haven't actually used any of these new German assets yet, and this kind of looks like it fits in around here. Alright, now it's time for the Arctic Circle Information Centre, where we'll use that big red Christmas building of joy. I thought I might try and expand it a little bit though, so it's a little bit more grand when you come up the driveway into Christmas land. So I just added a couple of these buildings on either side, and then of course our secret trick that seems to make anything look Christmassy. We're turning it red, but look at that. It's just so effective. Christmas building of joy indeed. Now we're almost done with the buildings around here, so we can get to decorating soon. But we need to add in Santa's office behind the Arctic Circle building here. And you know what? I'm thinking, why don't we use this new German department store? I mean, Santa practically lives in a department store at this time of year, right? It's a pretty big and foreboding building, but why the heck not? I can't wait to see what this will look like covered in some of our funky lights. And then we may as well add in a couple of schools behind it just to fill out the block a little bit. Because even though I'm building a special little place like this, I still try to make sure there's some city services, just so that it can actually function for the Sims who live here. So this is Santa's office after all. Maybe this is a good spot to see if we can incorporate some of these chimneys. I mean, how else is Santa going to get into the building? I can't see him using the front door. So let's take a little look at our Christmas chimney and see how it looks. Alright, it's a bit wacky, but it's Christmas!
It's Christmas! It's Christmas!
Now let's just speed through a few more of these random hotels and cafes and things, because I really want to get to Mrs. Claus's Christmas cottage. It looks like such a quaint little place. I think it's probably my favourite spot in all of Santa's village. So I think for Mrs. Claus, we're just going to give her a really nice residential house. I really like these signature building ones that have the farm built in out the back as well. And speaking of city services, I guess we better add in a crematorium. We can use the French one. It's white, and I guess it will do nicely for our snowman world entrance. And then we just need to dot in some accommodation around the place. I'm going to use a mixture of things like motels and small residential houses. And then it's time to deck these damn halls. So first order of business, I think we may as well do Snowman World. While I'm very excited about having snowmen, I guess there's not many other snow type things that we can add in here. Although we do have some plows. Maybe we can add in little bumps around the place, make it look a little bit like they're plowing some actual snow. And I'm tempted to just put snowmen everywhere in here, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, getting a bit filled out now, but I think it's all looking a bit bare, so I might take the opportunity to sprinkle a little bit of fine, festive shrubbery around the place. that feels better. Now let's get behind the Arctic Circle Information Center here. I'm pretty sure that this is roughly where the Arctic Circle line is. They mark it out quite clearly for you, and it's dotted with these lamps along the way as well. I also noticed it has some writing on it. I couldn't quite find a clear picture that shows exactly what's written on it, so I think we might just invoke the spirit of that and write Arctic Circle here. A great use for these Tygon letter decals. But actually, they're white. I might just change this line to red and then we can lay them down. Now behind this building there is a little bit of a cafe that I didn't add in before, so we'll add this in, and I'm thinking this is a little bit of a gathering point for tourists. They come to see the Arctic Circle line, have a cup of hot cocoa at the cafe, so this might be the prime place to finally lay down one of our fine decorated Christmas trees. So I reckon this needs to go right here, and we'll put it in a pretty little planter box as well. And now it's time to adorn it with some of our finest light up Christmas baubles. And I think we will go for an assortment of colors. Alright, some of them are floating in midair, but that's cool. What I can say is it immediately looks like a bloody Christmas village now. So let's keep it going and light up some of the rest of these buildings. Well, no idea why I kept that on pause, but that looks pretty good if you ask me. I mean, as far as what you can do in this game so far, I think we have achieved Christmas vibes. Officially. Wouldn't you agree? So let's keep going with Santa's office HQ. Time to light it up for Santa. And I'm thinking while we're going with the Christmas trees, Santa needs one just for himself on top of his big old HQ. Okay guys, and now I didn't actually think about this until now, but why don't we try using the tiny little shrubberies as a Christmas garland on the buildings? I'm a goddamn Christmas genius. This looks amazing, especially if we add our lights to it. Fantastic. And you know what that means? Now we gotta add these to every single goddamn building. Find shrubbery. Is there anything it can't do? And now I'm looking at this little area back here. I'm thinking that we could turn this into like a little place with some food stalls and some of those little heated tents. You know, the ones where you eat melted cheese and drink mulled wine. Sounds super cozy. So we'll put in a few food places and we can use some of the fire pit things from the campground nestled into these little huts. Now, another crazy Christmas idea. I'm thinking a place like this would also have some fairy lights going on. I'm thinking that maybe we can put a flagpole here and just kind of have the lights floating in midair. Maybe if they're in that sort of shape, it might look like some hanging fairy lights. I guess there's only one way to find out. Tedious work. I do not recommend this. But we've come this far, so we may as well do the other side. The last one. Alright, now I wish that was easier to do. I would probably do it all over here if it was, but it's not. So I won't. It does look pretty dang cute though, I gotta say. And now that we have all of our main buildings and things in, I think it's time to give the place one final spruce up with some spruce and maybe some oaks. Let's go. And for our final addition, we're turning this little last bit into Santa's farm. So we will fence it up and add in some animal spawners. I do wish the deer would stay restrained within these fences, but sadly not. So maybe we'll add in some festive chickens just to make sure we at least have some wildlife in here. And at least with the deer spawners coming from here, we can ensure that we have a plentiful, ongoing population of deer for times to come. And oh, holy night, we are done. Let's crank up some snow and turn down the lights and check out our little Santa village. Well, thanks for watching this very festive Shelley Skylines Christmas. Actually, we just reached 1 year on this channel, so I think this was a very fine way to celebrate. So thanks to everyone who has subscribed and liked and commented throughout the year. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday however you celebrate. But for now, I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye.